Hello everybody, Tyron the God 3 here. Now I know a lot of you all are wondering where the hell has this series gone. Yes, for those of you all who are new, welcome by the way, I'm Tyron the God 3. Pleasured. This is Pokemon Universe, a fanfic Pokemon series that I made way back in the day and has exactly 100 episodes to it. Currently, as of the making of this video, I have written episode 80 of 100. So 20 more and I'll be completely done. Yay! But for those of y'all who have already known of Pokemon Universe's existence, I received quite a bit of fan demand for this to come back, both on Twitter and on YouTube, with the comments in the comment section. Plus, I've also know that my channel's been facing a little bit of a hiatus as of late, a bit of a decline, if you will. I've spent so much time collaborating with other YouTubers, the Insane GameFreak, KG Prestige, John or JPR98, Rich McFarley, a lot of people, which you should definitely check those people out, that I haven't had really much time to tackle anything on my channel. And I know one of the things that people have been demanding the most, at least recently, is the Pokemon Universe series, a fanfic series that I made and I wrote all of the script to, which I'll be posting the script of it in physical form in Word documentation on fanfic.net. The Pokemon Universe series is a series that, like I said, had 100 episodes to it, and I started to actually review over each of the episodes verbally, kind of like an audio experience, if you will, that you can listen to while you're in the car. And I would briefly just go over some of the big points that happen in each of the episodes that I had in writing. Expect the written versions of episodes 1 through 35 to be out around, generally, I want to say September all the way up till October, maybe November. But for now, let's go ahead and get straight into episode 19 and pick up right where we left off. So, Pokemon Universe, episode 19. This episode is titled, Take My Picture, Coda, Wadana, the Model. So this episode basically begins with our heroes traveling to Zeon City, which is the location to Trent's third badge and gym battle so that he can enter the Pokemon League. While traveling, they pass a city, a small town known as Carindale, and Trent notices something first. And when Trent notices something, he notices a lot of small little pink bird-like Pokemon, and that's what Luna points out as well. Once they get to look at it further, Trent's Pokedex confirms that these Pokemon are Spritzy, tiny little fairy type Pokemon, and Luna thinks they're really cute and wants to get a closer look. Trent is disagreeing because he's impatient and wants to get straight to Zeon City so he can get his third badge, and Coda just wants to take a picture of them because he thinks they'll be really good for his scrapbook so that his sister Sonia will have something really cute to look at in the scrapbook because Spritzy are really cute Pokemon. Coda and Luna decide to go with their instincts and just get a closer look at the Spritzy, while Trent basically is yelling at them because he wants them to come back so that they can go straight on the road to Zeon City. Just as when they get a closer look and Coda starts to take some pictures, there's a lady there that notices that Coda is holding a camera. Because this, the lady rushes straight to Coda and states that he's the perfect one and that he's here and right on time. Coda has no idea what this lady is talking about until another guy comes out in an area with a notepad and everything and states that Coda's just on time as well. Coda's still baffled and confused by what they're saying. They decide to shed a little bit more light on this. They state that he must be the photographer that was hired in order to take this lady's pictures. Coda is even further confused by this while stating that he doesn't take any pictures of actual people. He's a Poketographer. He takes pictures of Pokemon. The lady introduces herself as Wadana, the model, and she states that she's infamous. However, Coda, Luna, nor Trent have ever even heard of her existence. Well, she states that she's an up-and-coming model and that she's soon to be one of the biggest models in the entire Gaeza region and later the world. She's very self-proclaimed. She thinks very highly of herself. She thinks, if you want to compare her to any character, think of how like Jessie was in Pokemon contests where she was Jesselina or Jezebel or whatever she was at the time. She thinks really highly of herself. She's a diva. She's a queen. She thinks she's the baddest woman on the planet. And because of this, though, she really adores the fact that Coda has a camera because she feels like he's the photographer that they hired in order to take her pictures. Further confused by this, he decides to bring Trent, Luna, and Coda into the house. The husband introduces his name as Fred. Fred is the one that basically is her agent, the one that signs her on to deals in order to get her promoted in various places so that her picture can be taken and that she can be a fashion model. So, because of this, and they explain this further, they decided to have an event in Carradale Town where they go to the art museum in order to have her take various pictures in the columns area of the art museum. Here is where the art museum will also be doing a very famous exhibit to show off this thing known as the Persian stone. Now, what that is the red jewel that's usually on the top of Persians' heads, only this one's slightly bigger, and it's very pretty, and it's super rare, and they're hard to find, and it's going to be showcased at the museum. So while it's being showcased at the museum, they decide to also use this publicity in order to have Wadana gain all of the public access so that she can be admired while her pictures are being taken. And they need Coda in order to take the pictures. Trent and Luna actually hype Coda up, as stating that he is a really good photographer, and if he takes the pictures, they'll be really good pictures. Coda, however, is super scared of this deal, stating that he's never taken any pictures of actual people before, and while he loves taking pictures, he's completely scared of the idea of having to take a picture of an actual model and the pressure that it's going to bring towards his skills as a photographer. Wadana states that he'll do great. Her husband Fred states that it'll be a big honor if you do this and, help us as a family get one step closer to Wadana's dream of becoming a model. And she even offers to have Coda take pictures of the Spritzy for the scrapbook if he goes ahead and takes the job. Well, because Coda really wants to finish this scrapbook and have pictures of the Spritzy in it so that his sister Sonia can enjoy them, he wholeheartedly but still regretfully agrees. Coda agrees to do the pictures for Wadana. Luna's very hyped about it, and Trent just wants it pretty much over with so he can hit the road to Zion City. So with this all being said, they go ahead and try to make the arrangements while Trent, Luna, and Coda stay at the Pokemon Center and go talk about the situation a little bit more. Coda is completely scared and nervous about what would happen if he messes up in this particular situation, while Trent is telling him not to really worry about it too much, and Luna spots the TV. The TV is going on, and the news basically hypes up the information that at the Carindale Museum, they're going to be doing pictures with Wadana as well as showing off the Persian stone in its exhibit. So Carindale is going to be gaining a lot of publicity over today. Coda gets even more nervous because he knows that this means that he could potentially be on TV, which is something he really doesn't want to do. But Luna states that he'll be fine just to focus on him taking pictures and everything else should just sort itself out. Afterwards, we see that there's two shady guys sitting in the Pokemon Center that are watching the news as well, and when they hear about the Persian stone, they get up and they head out. Our heroes then head towards the Carindale Museum, and they notice that there's a lot of people there. While they're there, Coda goes with Fred and Wadana to set up the photo area so that they can go ahead and take the shots. Luna and Trent decide to go into the front of the museum where the Persian stone is being showcased. There, they also meet Officer Jenny, but because they meet Officer Jenny, Trent decides to hide behind Luna basically for the entirety of the time that they're there. And Luna states for Trent to stop being a big baby about it. If you watch my previous episodes, you know that Trent has a large fear of Officer Jenny based on some events that happened with him prior dealing with Officer Jenny, where back in Cherryville Town, he was most noticeably caught by Officer Jenny pulling pranks on everyone in Cherryville, and thus her Arcanine would literally attack Trent to detain him and send him to jail just for a little bit of time so that he can learn his lesson and then he'll leave out. Not in jail, but just like in a small little holding place that kids would go if they're doing bad things. So as a kid, Officer Jenny sort of haunted him the entire time. Well, while they're there and Coda's setting up pictures for the area, we see that two thieves have broken into the museum through the air ventilation shafts. They're talking to each other via walkie-talkie and stating that they are going to go ahead and take the Persian stone. When they take the Persian stone, there's a security system in the entire museum known as a thief lockdown. Whenever any item, picture or anything is taken, the entire museum goes into a lockdown state where all the doors are sealed, closed, and are reinforced by steel. This is to prevent any thieves from escaping long enough for the officers and cops to come in and turn the code off so that they can capture the culprit. Well, while they're doing this, they know that they're going to be able to reset the front door and the back door. One of them is able to hack into the system so that he can open the back door while the front door is the one that's being locked in. He does this just specifically so that when they take the Persian stone, they'll actually have an exit to get out. So they decide to set this up. Coda and the others are in the back door area where they would escape while everyone else is looking at the Persian stone in the front area. So while Wadana, Fred, and Coda are in the back, Trent, Luna, Officer Jenny, and several other people, citizens, and a couple of art critiques are in the front looking at the Persian stone. Well, once Trent and Luna look at the Persian stone, they see that it's a very famous stone and they admire its beauty a little bit. And there's a funny little running joke where two art critiques actually use large vocabulary words to describe the beauty of the stone, and they use various adjectives in order to display. It's sort of like a connoisseur battle between a lot of these art critiques, and they're showing off how beautiful the stone is. And at this point, Trent gets bored because they've been doing this for like hours. So after this, Luna asks Trent, hey, do you want to go grab a soda? We can come back and check on Coda and Wadana and Fred afterwards. Trent agrees. However, one thing ends up happening. So one of the thieves, disguised as a citizen, comes up to Officer Jenny and states that everybody should evacuate the entire museum because he says that he spotted a fire. Well, and one of those robbers, just for the naming's sake, is named Strife. He's the one that ends up doing the first half of this. The one that's still inside, that's about to actually steal the Persian stone, is Clint. Well, Strife tells Officer Jenny this so that Officer Jenny can tell everyone to evacuate. Everyone hears that there's a fire on the second floor of the museum, so they end up evacuating. Luna and Trent are about to evacuate too, but Luna starts to notice that something is suspicious. She states to Officer Jenny, hey, if there's a fire that was spotted, then how come the second floor windows have no sign of smoke at all? Officer Jenny finds this strange as well. And when Luna basically deduces that there is no fire happening in the second floor, she can pretty much deduce the fact that there is no fire, and thus there must be somebody just wanted to have everyone evacuate. Well, why would they have everyone evacuate the museum? Well, the reason for this is so that there's nobody there to be accomplices to the crime. So Officer Jenny notices someone must be trying to steal the Persian stone, since it's the thing that's being in the exhibit right now. After this, Clint obviously steals the Persian stone, but when he does, the thief lockdown activates. After that, Strife activates the code in order to open the door from the outside so that they can leave. However, the problem is that Coda, Fred, and Wadana are still inside the building. Well, since this is an issue, they're about to leave and they see that Coda, Wadana, and Fred are still there. And Strife and Clint, the two thieves, state that the only real way to make a smooth getaway is to go ahead and get rid of these three so that there's no accomplices to our crime so that we can escape scot-free. Well, because of this, that means that Coda and the others are going to have to try to fight for their lives in order to escape these two thieves that are potentially really dangerous. Well, the thieves end up choosing their Pokemon. Strife ends up using Corphish, and Clint ends up using Haunter, respectively. And Coda states that he has no choice but to try and battle. Wadana Spritzies, because they were in the picture as well. The Wadana has a bunch of Spritzies, like 4 or 5 of them, and they all hang around her while she's taking her pictures. They decide to go in and battle as well by using the sweet scent to slow them down a little bit. But it's of no real avail, as Haunter ends up using Ominous Wind to knock them back and have them fly away. They're not that strong. So Coda takes a stand and decides to fight for them. Well, because of this, Clint actually respects Coda's bravery. After that, Officer Jenny goes in and tries to break in through the museum through the front. But the only way to break into the museum while it's in thief lockdown mode from the front is to activate the code that can get them out of there. There's two codes, one to get in, one to get out. And Officer Jenny unfortunately does not have the usually they have the code, but she finds out that they actually reset the code. So there's no way for them to actually get inside until the person who installed the alarm system is there to reset the code so that they can enter a new code to get inside. Well, because of this, it's up to Strife to wait it in at the front of the museum so that they can hold them off long enough for Clint to defeat Coda in a Pokemon battle so that they can make their getaway. Well, because of this, Strife leaves with his Corphish while Clint and Coda have a one-on-one battle. Clint's Haunter versus Coda's Taillow. Tailow's basically the Pokemon that's been throughout the whole episode as well, too. It's just been on Coda's head for most of the part. So, while they're fighting, for the most part, it looks like Taylor's doing pretty well with the double team attack, avoiding a lot of Haunter's Fire Punch and Sucker Punch attacks. However, one of the problems come in, when Taylor is about to get hit by Fire Punch and dodges, but Haunter ends up using that Fire Punch as a distraction so that it can use Toxic. It spits out the Toxic and it hits Taylor, so Taylor ends up getting poisoned. This slows Taylor down dramatically in the battle, and thus Taylor gets hit with various Fire Punches and Sucker Punch attacks. And even when Taylor's about to attack, Haunter uses Ominous Wind. Now, Ominous Wind wouldn't do damage to Taylor normally, but Haunter's not trying to damage Taylor. It's just using the Ominous Wind to throw off Taylor's trajectory a little bit so that each attack would miss or wouldn't be direct. When all hope basically seems lost and Taylor's about to lose because of its poison and the fact that it keeps getting hit by Sucker Punches and Fire Punch attacks, Taylor immediately ends up using Double Team again and dodges one of Haunter's attacks and then gets much faster. The reason it gets faster is because it's using a new move, and that move is Aerial Ace. And the reason Coda knows that this move that Taylor just learned is Aerial Ace is because Coda watches how Taylor moves and notices the exact same movements that Sora Staravia had movements in when Sora and his Staravia were battling off against Trent in episode 15. So Coda can actually, I tried to implement some connection between episode 15 and episode 19 with Coda recognizing like how moves work in Pokemon battle. Well, because Taylor knows Double Team now, not Double Team, I'm sorry, Aerial Ace. Because Taylor knows Aerial Ace now, Taylor's able to swiftly use Aerial Ace to hit Haunter multiple times. And when Haunter uses Ominous Wind, rather than Coda and Taylor getting hindered by the wind, they actually decide to use the wind to their advantage to increase Taylor's comeback speed. So when Taylor flies backwards, he flies with the wind and gains more speed with the Aerial Ace. He continues to hit Haunter multiple times, and in combination with the Aerial Ace and Double Team, Haunter's unable to land a single hit on Taylor, and Taylor lands multiple hits on Haunter. Just before Taylor's about to land the final blow, however, Taylor ends up getting hurt. Now, Taylor was doing a lot more damage on Haunter, too, because Fred, Wadana's husband, points out that Taylor actually got stronger after it got poisoned. This is thanks to Taylor's ability Guts. So Taylor's able to effectively do a lot more damage. Unfortunately, because it was poison, Taylor wasn't able to deliver the final blow. It ends up taking hits from the poison, falls, and faints. Clint is the winner of the battle. Now, Clint does win the battle, however, he does respect the fact that Coda made it that far in the fight. And seeing how Coda and Taylor worked together and got stronger like that reminded him much of himself when he was a young Pokemon trainer as well. So he decides to go ahead and give the Persian Stone to Coda and decides that he's going to turn himself in. Meanwhile, we jump to the front of the museum where Officer Jenny and the other cops have finally found a way to reset and open the front door of the museum. When this does happen and they burst through, Trent and Luna beg to go help out because Coda is their friend and they feel like they should help out their friend. Officer Jenny agrees and lets them go ahead and help under the condition that once reinforcements come, they have to back off. Once Strife comes in to battle with Corfish, Trent comes in with Pichu, and Pichu defeats Corfish with a simple Thunder Shock, and it leads them to the back end of the museum. Once they get to the back end, Strife notices that they're in trouble and they need a quick getaway, but instead Clint ends up putting out his arms so that they can put the handcuffs on him. Clint also suggests to Strife that he should do the exact same thing and turn himself in, because there's no way he can get away in time for the police to not chase him. They'll probably catch him if he tries to run away. Strife thinks that Clint basically lost his mind and wonders why he would turn himself in like this, and Clint basically explains that you wouldn't understand, but long story short, this kid made me realize a lot about who I was, and I want to turn over a new leaf. Clint deduces that if he turns himself in now, he wouldn't get a lot of jail time because he basically put the Persian stone back where it came. If he had gotten away and stolen it, then they would have gotten a lot more jail time. But he decides to put it back, so they're not going to get as much time. And he feels this will be a good opportunity for him to actually learn a bit about himself and become a Pokemon trainer again. He thanks Koda for his bravery and the heart that he displayed in their Pokemon battle. And after that, the two go into Officer Jenny's car and they're taken away. After this, Wadana is very, very thankful to Koda by expressing her beauty and even gives Koda a picture of herself autographed as a sign of a thank you. A bit of an odd gift to give our heroes, but it's a gift nonetheless. She thinks very highly of herself, so I thought it was a very funny thing for her to add. Just then, another photographer shows up, and this is the real photographer, the one that had got the memo that was a few hours later, and that's why he arrived late. But because of this, they end up stating that Koda's their new photographer now, and he'll be traveling on tour with them in order to go from city to city where Wadana can take several pictures and Koda will be her photographer. Obviously, this makes Trent and Luna very upset, and Koda thinks about it for a second, but realizes that he wouldn't have gotten this strong in Pokemon battles or gotten this brave when it comes to taking on new challenges if it weren't for Trent and Luna. So he decides to go ahead and travel with Trent and Luna and doesn't decide to go with Wadana and Fred in order to take the tours of the pictures. This, however, upsets Fred and Wadana, but they do thank him for all of the work that he's done. They thank the pictures, and they look at the pictures and notice a good job, and then decide to go ahead and bring the other photographer along with them so that they could travel from city to city in order to take various pictures of Wadana and increase her publicity. Wadana thanks Koda very much for his bravery, and Koda goes to the Pokemon Center to heal Talo. After that, they all part ways and they say goodbye. Trent and Luna both congratulate Koda for being so brave during that moment and state that he did a really good job. And Talo thanks Koda, and the two are happy that they've gotten stronger. Koda walks forward towards the future, and Trent runs because he's in a hurry to get to Zeon City. And Luna chases after him, telling him to slow down, and the episode basically ends there. I really like that this was basically, I know that for the most part, Talo learning Aerial Ace isn't exactly a giant thing worth noticing, but it is character development for Koda, and I felt like it was necessary just to help, progress the story along. And we literally just came from a Luna developed episode before this, I believe, so it's just good to have episodes to increase character development. And I thought it was good writing, and it was fun. It was a fun little episode. I think Wadana was a great character to write just because of how off the wall she is. There's literally a scene I know where when Officer Jenny announces that the museum is on fire and everyone needs to evacuate, Wadana wants to keep taking pictures regardless because she feels like her beauty is as hot as any flames. And Koda basically goes, "Yo, your wife's crazy," and Fred's like, "Yeah, I know, but you gotta respect her spirit." But they do convince her to leave, and she gets upset before they're about to leave the museum. Unfortunately, they just didn't leave in time. So it's just little fun stuff like that I liked writing in order to, just add a bit of, characterization to this. It's like, yeah, this technically is like a filler episode, but it's technically not. We learned that Talo has the ability Guts, and Talo learns Aerial Ace in this episode too. So it's mostly development for Koda and Talo, and just a way for Koda to gain a little bit of bravery, not just as a photographer, but as a Pokemon trainer as well. So it was just something really fun to put down and write. Oh, but with that being said, that was a fun episode for me to write. Let me know how you enjoyed the episode in the comments. The next episode is episode 20, and this episode is titled Pichu's Power Plant Panic. I will see you all then, everybody. Tyrone the God 3